Well, yesterday, President Trump finally released what everyone has been asking him to release.
Nice.
George Santos, the former Republican congressman who had pled guilty to fraud and something called aggravated identity theft, which I think is when you push someone into a closet and switch clothes with them.
Donald Trump said that at the debates, he wants both of them to stand instead of sit. So that's the status of our presidency. Standing is a feat of strength. I think we can learn a lot more watching them both try to get out of a beanbag chair.
It's political chaos disguised as a campaign rally, and Colin Jost and Michael Che are front row with popcorn and perfect timing. Together they turn the White House circus into a late-night demolition derby where J.D. Vance plays the sidekick, Trump plays the emperor, and both crash headfirst in a comedy blender set to disaster. Every speech, every slogan, every forced attempt to sound presidential becomes another sketch in America's longest-running reality show. The punchline? The show never ends, only the dignity does.
Well, America elected Donald Trump to run the country like a business, but it turns out he's running it like one of his businesses. I love that you can intentionally ruin the economy and still get to stay president. It's like if you drunk drove your car through the window of the DMV and they were like, license renewed.
Colin starts by treating J.D. Vance like the world's most confused intern, a guy who stumbled into politics thinking he was joining a book club. He went from writing about the struggles of his hometown to becoming the mascot for a billionaire president who probably couldn't spell Appalachia if it came with flashcards.
The White House also announced that Vice President J.D. Vance will travel to the Vatican for Pope Leo's inaugural Mass. And I'm not a huge fan of his outfit.
President Trump, while on his trip, said that Iran has sort of agreed to terms for a nuclear deal in the same way Trump has sort of agreed to uphold the Constitution. Many people in Saudi Arabia were very happy with President Trump's visit to the country because rich Saudis love to fly out thick blondes.
The White House announced that Vice President J.D. Vance will travel to the Vatican for Pope Leo's inaugural Mass. And let's just say his outfit isn't exactly getting rave reviews. Meanwhile, President Trump claimed that Iran has, sort of, agreed to a nuclear deal in the same way Trump has, sort of, agreed to uphold the Constitution. And over in Saudi Arabia, the locals were thrilled about Trump's visit. After all, rich Saudis have a well-known appreciation for flying in thick blondes.
Zelensky has said that if President Trump provides Ukraine with Tomahawk missiles, he will nominate Trump for a Nobel Peace Prize. You know, the prize they give you for selling missiles. There was outrage this week over a leaked group chat between Republican leaders which praised Hitler and referred to black Americans as watermelon.
If you're enjoying this video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon. It's like watching a motivational speaker slowly turn into a motivational warning. Michael Che slides in, already smirking like he's seen this plot twist 100 times. He calls it the political buddy comedy nobody asked for, one man pretending to be tough and another pretending to be loyal. J.D. Vance's devotion to Trump is so intense it practically deserves its own loyalty oath.
It's insane. This was the worst week for the stock market since the summer of 2020. But you have to remember, back then, the president was also Trump. Just in the past 2 days, investors have lost over $6 trillion. Money is leaving the stock market faster than Morgan. I don't know. I just feel like as a Catholic, Trump's photo just feels slightly disrespectful. Also, if Trump really wants to be Pope, he should probably stay away from J.D.
And just when you think the orbit couldn't get any tighter, J.D.'s loyalty evolves into something else entirely. Part performance, part prophecy, all politics. Colin jumps back, amazed at how Trump still treats every political event like an episode of his old reality show. The only difference is that back then, people actually got paid to act impressed.
President Trump has signed an executive order giving refugee status to white people from South Africa. You know, I could have sworn that white people had it good in South Africa. Must be the Mandela effect. The Trump administration announced that after face-to-face talks with China, it is lowering tariffs from 145% to 30%, which is a little like OJ bragging about taking the knife out.
Now it's just JD nodding so hard it looks like he's trying to win an invisible bobblehead contest. Colin jokes that JD's career arc is like a boomerang, launched by principles, caught by politics, and forever stuck in Trump's orbit. Che doubles down, saying Trump's rallies feel like open mic nights for conspiracy theories, the only places on Earth where facts show up just to get booed.
Vice President J.D. Vance, seen here watching the plane leave Greenland without him, continued his sad reboot of Veep this week by visiting our military base there and delivering the administration's clearest threat so far. Either Greenland joins the U.S. or the U.S. will keep sending them J.D. Vance.
But hey, when the script never changes, you don't need to rehearse. Just reheat last season's drama and call it breaking news. Trump struts in like a man auditioning for a role he already lost, still delivering the same lines with the confidence of someone who's never read a review. Che laughs, calling it performance art for people allergic to accountability, while Colin adds that Trump's rallies have become sequels. Same plot, same punchlines, just a bigger cast pretending it's new. JD plays the latest recruit, basically the guy holding a flashlight while someone else looks for lost keys. Colin jokes that JD went from hillbilly elegy to presidential apology, rewriting his own story to fit a script he didn't write but memorized word for word. Che pushes it further, saying every Trump speech starts with confidence and ends in confusion. It's like watching a GPS reroute itself mid-sentence. He jokes that the teleprompter probably has a built-in side button by now. And JD? He's just there clapping on cue like a malfunctioning studio audience. Che quips that if loyalty points were transferable, JD could finally buy a conscience. Colin circles back to Trump's obsession with spectacle, laughing that he measures success in applause volume, not policies passed. And JD, ever the loyal understudy, just hopes to stay in frame, because as Colin puts it, their partnership feels less like mentorship and more like a hostage situation with perfect lighting.
President Trump responded to a report showing the U.S. economy was declining by posting, "Be patient, and if his brain gets any worse, he's gonna be patient." Attorney General Pam Bondi claimed that if not for Donald Trump seizing fentanyl at the border, 75% of all Americans could be dead. But hey, don't threaten us with a good time.
And honestly, he's not wrong, because watching those two together feels less like politics and more like a rear-end nobody ever asked for. Che shifts into full roast mode, comparing the Trump-Vance alliance to a reality show called The Apprentice, Regret Edition, where every episode ends with someone pretending they meant to be there. He calls JD America's most ambitious background character, a man so eager to agree he probably practices nodding in the mirror. Trump, meanwhile, treats loyalty like currency, burning through it faster than campaign donations vanish into legal fees. Colin laughs that Trump doesn't really lead. He just narrates his own myth in real time, while JD, trying to keep up, echoes every word like a malfunctioning parrot still convinced it's getting promoted. Che smirks, reminding everyone that Trump's White House was the only workplace where chaos counted as experience. He jokes that cabinet meetings probably felt like family dinners at a reality TV reunion. Everyone smiling, no one knowing what's going on. And JD, of course, plays the overly eager newcomer still convinced the next episode might turn everything around. Che ends with a grin. Spoiler alert, it won't.
While traveling on Air Force One to the Middle East to celebrate the ceasefire, President Trump told reporters, "I don't think there's anything that's going to get me into heaven." Then he paused for 10 full minutes, waiting for someone to say, "That's not true." Because Trump can't go to heaven. He's far too busy down here.
That's not just irony, it's branding. Only Trump could turn political rot into prime waterfront property. Colin highlights the absurdity. Trump keeps talking about draining the swamp while building luxury condos in it, creating the most profitable ecosystem in politics, fueled by ego and irony. JD's role? the enthusiastic realtor convincing everyone the water's fine. Colin imagines him rehearsing lines about integrity while knee-deep in contradiction, clutching a campaign hat like a life raft. Che keeps the momentum, saying Trump's campaign stops feel like motivational seminars for people who forgot what they were motivated about. Slogans change, but the theme never does. He laughs at JD, standing beside Trump like an extra in a superhero movie who doesn't realize the script is a comedy. Colin dives into Trump's social media, calling it the world's most consistent performance art. Each post a new episode in the saga of self-promotion, with JD often sharing or defending them, like a loyal intern desperately replying, "Great point, sir," to every thought. At this rate, Colin jokes, JD's phone must have an auto-reply that just says, "Absolutely, Mr. President."
President Trump impersonated a transgender weightlifter in a speech to graduates at the University of Alabama, which is a sentence so stupid it couldn't even get into the University of Alabama. There is speculation that the next pope could come from Africa, which would mean he'd have to travel over Colin's dead body.
At this point, Trump isn't just bending the truth, he's folding it into origami and selling it as art. Che, with perfect timing, compares Trump's truth stretching to Olympic-level gymnastics. Every claim flips, twists, and lands nowhere near reality, yet still somehow earns applause. JD, of course, plays the commentator, giving each move a perfect score. Che deadpans that the routine might be impressive if it weren't happening in the Oval Office, adding that by now fact-checkers probably have loyalty cards too. Colin jumps in, calling Trump's never-ending rallies the most expensive therapy sessions in history, imagining crowds cheering grievances while the president vents about everyone else's failures, with JD as the emotional support candidate nodding through the noise. Che shifts the focus to JD's transformation, saying his political evolution looks less like growth and more like shape-shifting, trading his reputation for realism in favor of relevance. He grins, noting that JD's career proves if you can't beat hypocrisy, join it and trademark it, with Trump, of course, treating that as the highest compliment.
This week, President Trump met with Kid Rock for what appears to be Drag Queen Story Hour. Kid Rock watched Trump sign an executive order on concert ticket fees and then returned to his regular job as a 4th of July lawn skeleton.
And honestly, that might be the most accurate album review Trump's ever gotten, because every track somehow ends with the same chorus. It's all about him. Colin zooms out to Trump's leadership record, calling it a remix of chaos, ego, and nostalgia. Every move designed to replay his greatest hits from 2016, only louder. JD's role? Be the backup dancer pretending the song is still charting, nodding like he's witnessing genius unfold. Che mocks how every policy is marketed like a limited-time offer, except the expiration date is always democracy, adding that it's the only presidency where irony writes its own press releases. Colin shifts to Trump's economy talk, calling it the only economy where slogans outperform statistics, joking that his economic plans sound like motivational posters read aloud, with JD echoing every word as if repetition somehow creates results. Colin laughs that between the two, you'd think success was measured in merch sales and applause duration, while the deficit keeps doing its own stand-up routine. No punchlines needed.
President Trump addressed a joint session of Congress and claimed that no president has changed government faster than him. Yeah, and nobody changed airport security faster than bin Laden. One of the founders of the Black Lives Matter movement announced that he is supporting Donald Trump for president. And I'm going to assume he announced it during a traffic stop.
From indictments to investigations, Trump has turned courtroom drama into political strategy. Che jokes that JD's loyalty runs so deep, he could probably write a sequel called Elegy for an indictment. He smirks that while most politicians dodge scandal, Trump collects them like trophies, proof that consequences are optional when denial is your brand. JD sticks around, smiling like he's next in line for sainthood. Colin quips that loyalty to Trump is like playing musical chairs in a hurricane. Eventually, the music stops, and someone ends up out in the storm explaining what went wrong. Che circles back to Trump's campaign rallies, calling them part therapy, part stand-up, all chaos, with the president thriving on applause even if he's the only one who gets the punchline. JD's role? Laugh on cue, even when the joke's on him. Che grins, calling it the purest display of loyalty in politics. When you don't just support the message, you pretend it made sense.